Hi guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. My name is Mafalda, as most of you know by now. I'm the creator of this channel. I'm also the creator of Bookworm Retreat, the Instagram page. You can check it out down below. The link is down below. And the blog as well. I also have a blog where I talk about books. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I would be very pleased if you do. If you hear any sound, it's because Reiko is literally playing right now here. I don't know why. Every single time that I take the camera out, she decides that it's time for her to play. So if you hear anything, it's her fault, okay? So thank you so much for watching and let's talk. So today's video is something that I've been thinking about doing for a couple of days now, because I just finished this series and I was like, I need to talk to someone about this series because I really enjoyed it. And I was, talking to my friends and all of that, and they were like, okay, so which one do you prefer? And I was like, which one do I prefer what? So we had a huge argument about which book we prefer, and that's why I decided I need to know everyone's opinion about this, and I want to talk about this book because it's so good, or these books because they are so good, so that's why I'm here. So I read all of the three Dreamland Billionaire Series books. The first one is the final print, the second one is Terms and Conditions, and the third one is Final Offer. So the series is a rom-com, so if you guys aren't sure if you like this type of books, please give it a try anyway, because I promise you it's a very good series and you will enjoy it. They are standalones, but I would say that you need to read them, you need to read the series, because even though they are standalones, I think that you enjoy it more if you understand the characters, because they do have reference in every single book about each other, so I don't think that you will truly enjoy it if you don't read all of them. So my advice to you is read all of them. They are small, they are more or less 4,000, 5,000 pages, so it's not a huge book. You can read it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. So I think it's a good bet for you to, read the books. So the stories follow the three brothers. So 3 books, 3 brothers, it's easy. And they are all billionaires. So their grandfather actually started an empire that has a lot of companies, and one of them is actually an amusement park. So it's kind of like Disneyland, but it's called Dreamland, so it's similar. And each of the brother has a specific task that their grandfather left in his will, in order to them receive their inheritance. So their grandfather passed away, sadly, and each book is about that task. So they need to do that task in order to receive that inheritance and that part of the company. The thing is, their grandfather is an old fox, so he knew that they were complicated men with complicated issues because of, their father, he was very complicated, and their grandfather knew that his son was complicated, so he left those tasks in order to help not only his grandsons achieve their goals, their business goals, but also to help them achieve happiness. And that's something that you don't achieve, but to find happiness. And that's why the books are so wholesome, because in the end of the day, you do have a journey that each character has to go through in order to, find happiness and be true to themselves, and which is actually pretty cool. So the first one, the final print, is actually about Rowan and Zahara. I think that's how you say her name, at least that's how I'm saying her name. And they both work at Dreamland Amusement Park. Zahara is the ultimate girl that loves amusement parks. She loves doing what she does. She is very happy, with the kids and, developing the park. And she has amazing ideas, but she has a lack of confidence, because even though she's very smart and has very good ideas, her ideas were actually stolen by her ex-boyfriend. So she decided that she wouldn't trust anyone else anymore, and she decided that she wanted to stay where she is because she was afraid of taking chances, because nobody else would listen, because that ex-boyfriend was actually abusive and he destroyed her self-confidence, not only by taking her ideas but also by, you know, being verbally abusive towards her. So you have Zahara, that even though she has been through all of that, she's very happy and she's, you know, very smart. And at the same time you have Rohan, which is a very closed guy because he's been through a lot. All of the three brothers have been through an abusive father and the death of their mother. So they have their own struggles and their own issues, and that reflects on the way they talk to people, on the way they behave with people. And Zahara actually decided that she didn't want anything to do with him, but they ended up, you know, actually talking to each other and actually arguing to each other because of her ideas, and because she didn't agree with his ideas about the amusement park, and she showed them other side of the park that he wasn't actually seeing, because he was very hurt because of the memories of the place. The amusement park was one of his mother's favorite places in the whole world, so he wasn't very keen on, you know, maintaining that and keeping that alive because of all of the trauma that they three have been through. But Zahara showed him a different path, and it's very interesting because the task, I'm not going to say the tasks because you need to read the books in order to understand the tasks, but the tasks are very well made because even though they are very simple, they ended up leading the characters to that specific path, which is amazing. So that's the first one. The second one, Terms and Conditions, is the story of Declan and Iris. Declan is the older brother, so he was the one that protected his brothers from their abusive father. So as the older brother, he always protected his brothers and he was always there for that. But however, that actually had a negative side for him. So he's not a people person. He likes to be alone, he doesn't like to talk, he doesn't like to, you know, hang out and all of that, because he's very closed and uptight and all of that. So that was a consequence of, you know, him being the first one to deal with their abusive father. And on the other hand, Iris is literally the sunshine. So she is very smart as well. All of the three women of the three brothers are very smart, very witty, very, you know, quick, and very, you know, amazing. They are very powerful in their own ways, and I loved it. She has some struggles, so she has dyslexia. She grew up with people making fun of her and of her mistakes, so she ends up being very self-conscious and not very happy with herself, and she actually works twice as hard as anyone else because she knows that she can't make mistakes. Because Declan is actually someone who is very grumpy, is actually a very picky boss. So you need to do everything that he says, or else you end up losing your job. So she works twice as hard, and she is his assistant. So the thing is, in order to receive his inheritance, Declan needs to marry and have a child in 1 year. So that's not good because he doesn't have any girlfriend, he doesn't like anyone. So he ends up marrying Iris, even though they don't like each other. So I'm going to live like that, and you need to read it. And lastly, final offer is Callahan. So I love Callahan. It's one of the characters that I really enjoy because he's very funny and he's always laughing. He's a people person. He loves, you know, the attention and all of that, but he just does that to hide his inner demons. He's actually someone who has been through a lot. He has ADHD. Their father was very abusive towards him, specifically him. he actually was on drugs and on alcohol, so he coped with all of the trauma. He coped, you know, bearing in mind all of the trauma and all of his failures and all of that, he coped with alcohol and drugs. So be aware of that if that's a trigger warning for you. But yeah, so I really enjoyed Callum because he ends up being the most real, or the, you know what I'm saying, like he's the real person. He's the one that you need to be very careful, because he's that friend that's always smiling, but at the end of the day he's the one that if you leave it alone, he has a self-destructive behavior and may end up killing himself. You know, like kind of like Robin Williams kind of thing. Nobody knew that he was battling with depression until it was too late. I think that's Callum, and I really enjoyed reading that part of the story. And he's in love with Alana. Also, the tropes are pretty mainstream. So the fine print is an office. It's not an office romance. It doesn't end up an office romance, but it's actually a strangers to lovers, and is a billionaire romance kind of thing. And the terms and conditions is forced marriage and office romance, obviously. And final offer is small town romance, friends to enemies to lovers. It's not enemies, but friends to someone that you hate to lovers. You know what I mean? So they were actually best friends, they dated, but they broke up, and now they are dating again. So that's the story of Final Offer in a nutshell. So yeah, those three are amazing. If you ask me which one I prefer the most, I would probably say Final Offer. Even though I enjoyed the fine print and I loved Terms and Conditions, it's the one that I have, you know, memory, because I really enjoyed Declan's, and I really enjoyed the way that he struggles with talking to people, so he actually uses a word to describe what he's feeling, and he uses words in English, in Portuguese, in Spanish, in German, in, you know, in different languages to describe what he's missing, what he's feeling. And I really like that. It was a very interesting touch. It was a personality trait that I wasn't expecting to find on a book, so I really enjoyed that. But Final Offer is actually my favorite, even though I don't like you know, growing up and end up being lovers, you know, friends to lovers. I really don't like that kind of trope. I enjoy the way that the author explored, you know, their fragilities, their vulnerabilities, their insecurities in Final Offer specifically. So if you are asking me if you should read just Final Offer, I'm going to say no. Like I said before, even though they say that it's a standalone, I wouldn't say that it's a standalone. I really think that you need to read all of them. They are pretty good, they are amazing, they are very easy to read, they are super fast. They are rom-coms, so it's easier for us to, you know, get into the characters and, you know, see their world views and their perspectives. It's kind of difficult when we are reading fantasy, because sometimes the world building is hard or something like that, but as a rom-com it's easier for us because it's literally our world, so it's easier. And you do have a lot of references, you do have a lot of personality traits that are pretty interesting in every single character, that are very different. So I think that it's a good series. I would give this series 4.5 out of 5 stars actually. It's a comfort series, and sometimes you do need something that it's not out there, it's not a fantasy world, but it's just cute. So guys, that's it. That's my overall opinion about the Dreamland series. The Dreamland Billionaire Series, that's the name. I really enjoy them. If you guys have read any of the books, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to talk to you. I love talking to you. I would love if you guys leave anything there, because I think that we can talk about these books for hours. So please let me know. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and follow me on Instagram. I would love if you could follow me on Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a great week. See you in the next one, and have a good read.